Hi, welcome to another lecture series for Information Technology School-Based Assessment on University of Sports International. Today we're going to be looking at what is required of us to do in Task B of the spreadsheet aspect of the syllabus. Now, Task B asks us to make some changes to what we had in Task 1. Some of these, there are 3 changes. Let's look at them individually. Due to injuries, one athlete withdrew from the track meet. So you're asked to delete this record from the registration table. Number 2, on the day of the event coordinator requested that the results from the events are reflected in the registration table. So you're asked to insert a new column to store the results, which is the time ran for the event. You are then asked to sort the table to assign the top 3 positions according to the events. You are also asked to extract the data, which is the top 3 positions, and then modify to form the winners list. So here you're being asked to create a winners list for your track meet. This list should include name, event, school, and positions. So now, let's go over to our spreadsheet, and we're going to be looking at athlete number 1, which is what we did in Task A. Now here is what we have for Task A. We have our athlete data, our key sheet, and our budget is completed. Now, the first thing you need to do is to make a copy of your Task A spreadsheet. You make a copy because you want to keep what you have already, in order for you to modify to create a new task, a new name, a new spreadsheet. So the first thing you do once you've created Task A is to click on your Office button, select Save As. We're going to change the name of our spreadsheet to Task B, or you could change the name to Athletes 2, depending on what you're asked to do, right? You select where you want your document to be saved and you hit your save key. You have Athlete 2. So now let's do our modifications to our athletes table for Task B. So here it is, we have our Task B, or our athlete 2. So now we can do what we're asked to do. So item number 1 asks us to delete 1 record from our registration table. Good. So we're going to toggle back over to Athlete 2, and we are going to look for a name, candidate, or athlete to delete. So let's delete Mr. Watts. So here, so Mr. Watts has been deleted. Now you'll notice that you have not 40 but 39 athletes. We're also asked to insert another column. We're asked to insert a column to store the time ran. So let's do that. So here we're going to put in a column that says time ran. You want to put borders because you want your data to look uniform. So we're going to create borders for that. Now our time ran, and we can start by putting in the data which we actually have here on our question paper, and it tells us for each event the time range for each event for males, time range for each event for females. Now this table can be inserted in your keys table. So this can be inserted somewhere in your keys table. Right? So we have our events table. Let's stretch this column a little. Right? And we can change our borders to make it look more like our Excel borders. Right? So we can also want to insert a row here, so we can call this our time ran data table, and we want to merge and censor all of that. Good. We also want to put a border to make it look nice. Right? So there we go. And students, always save at intervals to ensure that your data is not lost. So here I'm going to toggle back over to our athletes data. So you notice that for our key table, it says for 100 meter for males. So 100 meter for male, they should run between 10.11 seconds and 11.30 seconds. For females, they should run 11.11 seconds to a range of 12.30 seconds, and so on. For each event, there is a range for each event. So you can add the earliest time and the latest time per event, per male and female. Right? So let's go back over to our athletes table, to our athlete data, and I'm going to put in the first time run is going to be 10.11 for me, for my male. Right? So here I've entered all the time run by each athlete per event. So this represents or reflects the time run for each athlete, both for 100 meter, 1500, 200, 400, 800. So each individual now has a time run. So let's go again and see what else we're asked to do here. So we're asked to create now a list of the winners. So we want to have the top 3 positions. We're asked to sort, my apologies, to sort the table in terms of the top 3 positions. So let's see how we can do that sorting. In order for us to do our sorting, we must insert a column that will represent the position of the athletes. So we need to put in a table to indicate the position of the athletes. And here I'm bordering my table to make sure that it looks okay. Now we understand that 10.11 is if you run 10.11, it means that you would have won that race. So we are going to indicate that this person came first in this race, and so then we need, that is in the 100 meters. So then we need to look at what was run in the other event to determine where they were placed. Okay, so we have completed our position column. So we have all our positions as they appear, and we have all our times. Now we are asked to sort, to assign the top 3 positions according to the event. So let's do a basic sort. So our basic sort, we're going to highlight all our data, starting with our column heading to the last one. We're going to go to our menu for sort and filter. However, because we're sorting on more than one column, we want to select custom sort. Now custom sort will determine what we sort on. So here we're going to be sorting on position, and we want it from the smallest to the largest, and we're going to be adding a level. So we're going to be sorting based on time ran. Now we want to sort an event, so let us sort on events, and we're going to sort on our event from A to Z. Okay, so let's say okay. So now we have all the persons who are first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth. So we have selected the top 3 positions. So here we have the final item to complete, and it says in an appropriate area of the spreadsheet, extract the data and then modify to form the winners list. Okay, so let's do that. So here we're going to insert a sheet, and this allows you to insert a worksheet into your document. So I'm going to insert a worksheet, and I'm going to name it winners. Winners list. Set. So here we have our winners list. So we want to copy and paste this data onto that sheet because we want to create our winners list. So we're going to copy and we're going to paste our data onto our sheet. Adjust our columns as we want. Now in order to do an extraction using advanced filter, we need to know the criteria that we are working with. And here it says we are to create the winners list, and the winners list is the top 3 positions according to the event. Good? So we need to create that winners list for that top 3 positions. So we're going to be using position as our criteria, and we want the top 3. So here is what we want: all positions less than 4. So all positions less than 4. We're gonna highlight our data. Find it easier if you actually do your highlighting. Select the menu option data. On your data tab, you're going to select advanced. So this is where your sorted filter is, so you select add for advanced. Now you'll notice that your range, because I selected it, so your range has been selected and is entered, and this range is registered as an absolute range. That means that that range won't change. The next thing you want to have is your criteria. Good? And so I like to click on my columns here to make it a little smaller. I scroll up and I select both cells where my criteria is located. Then I click my collapse and I go back. Now you can filter in another location and choose the location, but for this activity we want to filter in place because we already have this data on our athletes data sheet already. Good. So we want to filter. So now we have selected our range, we have inserted our criteria. We now click on OK and see if we get, there you go. So all students, or athletes rather, who came first, second and third. So here we have our winners list, and this represents the students who will be awarded, or the athletes rather, who will be awarded at the events. Before you do anything else, you must make sure that you hit your save key to save all the changes you have made to your document. In the next session, we will look at task 3. So we're going to be looking at task C in our next session to see what we are being asked to do.